Hello there, and welcome to another gameplay and review video. In this video, I'm going to do something brand new, something different. A few days ago, I uploaded a video called Deep Sorrow, and someone commented on that video. His name is Unrested. He has a YouTube channel, and he's also an indie game developer on itch.io. He requested that I review his games that he has released. He has 3 out so far, and then he is about to release a 4th one. I am planning to review all of his games for him. So, as I said, his name on YouTube and on itch.io is Unrested. And he mainly does Japanese culture documentaries and Japanese horror visual novel games. And this is the first of his games. This is his debut game called 10-Day Dream, a Japanese horror themed visual novel. And I will be reviewing it as he requested. And then I will also review his other 2 games that are out. So, just wanted to talk about that. This is my first kind of request video. And I hope to do more if people want to request games for me to do a gameplay and review video on. I will be more than happy to do a video on them. So, let's get started. This is 10-Day Dream, developed by Unrested. Let's start. The Curse of the 10-Day Dream is the type of legend you should never read, because it's the type that, once read, attaches itself to you. I didn't listen, and now the dream has begun. The first dream was simple. I was in my own room, but it felt wrong. The shadows were too deep, the silence too loud, and then she was there. The girl said, "Hello. May I ask you a question?" Her voice was like quiet static. The legend said I had to be polite. Of course you can. You can choose different selections. I will choose this one. Thank you. That is all for now. She smiled, a small, unsettling curve of her lips, and the dream began to fade. The second night, she returned. "I'm so glad you're back. Will you play a game with me?" A game, the story mentioned this, so I had to choose one. Let's play hide and seek. Wonderful, I'll hide first. She giggled, a sound like cracking ice, and vanished. The world dissolved into comforting blackness before I could even start counting. The third night, I was no longer in my room. We stood on a path under a bruised, purple sky. The girl stood beside me, silent. Then, from the gloom, they appeared. 2 figures. One had the head of a dead lady and was pushing a stroller. The other, inside the stroller, had the head of a dead dog. One of them is wrong. Destroy the wrong one for me. Which one was wrong? The dead lady pushing or the dead dog riding? My mind raced. This felt like a trick. How about the figure with the dog's head? Wrong choice. Both figures turned to look at me, their heads tilting in unison. An overwhelming sense of dread washed over me as the dream tore itself apart. I woke up trembling. The choice would be there again tonight. The third night, I was no longer in my room. We stood on a path under a bruised purple sky. The girls stood beside me, silent. Then, from the gloom, they appeared. 2 figures. One had the head of a dead lady and was pushing a stroller. The other, inside the stroller, had the head of a dead dog. One of them is wrong. Destroy the wrong one for me. Which one was wrong? The dead lady pushing, or the dead dog riding? My mind raced. This felt like a trick. How about I won't destroy either of them? Wrong choice. Both figures turned to look at me, their heads tilting in unison. An overwhelming sense of dread washed over me as the dream tore itself apart. I woke up trembling. The choice would be there again tonight. Okay, this is the third. Okay, I guess you can go back and change your mind on this one. The third night, I was no longer in my room. We stood on a path under a bruised purple sky. The girls stood beside me, silent. Then, from the gloom, they appeared. 2 figures. One had the head of a dead lady and was pushing a stroller. The other, inside the stroller, had the head of a dead dog. One of them is wrong. Destroy the wrong one for me. Which one was wrong? The dead lady pushing, or the dead dog riding? My mind raced. This felt like a trick. Okay, destroy the figure with the lady's head. As the thought entered my mind, the cat-headed figure dissolved into smoke. The dog-headed one remained, nodding slowly. You choose well. The world faded. Day 4, a desolate park. A single rusted swing set creaked in a non-existent wind. Look. She pointed to the sky. A strange, old-fashioned airship was descending, silent and vast. We have to get on, now. It was moving faster than it looked. There was no time to hesitate. Run for the airship. We ran, the ground feeling like mud under my feet. We reached the dangling rope ladder just in time, pulling ourselves aboard as the park shrank below. The inside of the airship was unnervingly quiet. It was filled with other people, all of them sitting silently, their faces pale and drawn. I recognized them, not personally, but I knew who they were. They were the others who had heard the story. We need to find a seat. I scanned the rows. Most were full. Finding 2 seats together seemed impossible. Point to 2 empty seats together in the back. My eyes caught it, a pair of empty seats in the rearmost row, shrouded in shadow. We quickly made our way there and sat down. Good, we could rest for a moment. As soon as we sat, the world outside the windows dissolved into a blur and the dream faded. The 6th night, we were in a long, narrow corridor on the airship. Doors with brass numbers lined the walls. We need to find the right cabin. Which one is it? I don't know the number, but you'll know it when you see it. Her answer was no help at all. I looked down the endless hallway. The numbers seemed to shift and blur. Look for something other than a number. I ignored the numbers and looked at the doors themselves. One near the end of the hall had a deep, vertical scratch mark, almost like a scar. This one, the girl nodded. The door swung open without a sound. The room wasn't a room. It was nothing. A vast, starless, silent void. We stood on the threshold, a single wooden doorway floating in an endless expanse of black. We have to go in. My feet felt rooted to the floor. Every instinct screamed at me not to step into that emptiness. Take her hand and step into the void together. I took her small, cold hand in mine. Together we took a step. There was no falling, no sensation at all, just floating. The doorway vanished behind us. Day 8, we were adrift in the silent black ocean. There is something we must find. What is it? A key. A key in all this Nothing. It was an impossible task. Panicking would do no good. Close your eyes and reach out with your feelings. I closed my eyes, shutting out the overwhelming emptiness. I focused on the idea of a key. I reached out with my hand, expecting nothing, and my fingers brushed against cold metal. I opened my eyes. A small ornate silver key was floating right in front of me. The ninth night, the key in my hand glowed, and a door of light formed in the void. We stepped through and were back in the desolate park from the fourth day. The air was cold, and the silence was heavier than before. The girl was different. She stood apart from me, her expression unreadable. She wouldn't look at me. "Are you okay?" She didn't answer. She just stared at the rusted swing set, which swayed gently on its own. There were no choices to make, no tasks to complete. We just had to wait. It was the most unsettling dream yet. As the dream faded, a single thought echoed in my mind. Tomorrow is the last day. The 10th and final night. I was in a small circular room with stone walls. In the very center was a simple black coffin. The key from the void felt heavy in my pocket. I knew what I was here to do. The coffin lid was already ajar. A deep sense of dread tried to root my feet to the floor, but an unseen force pulled me forward. I peered inside. It was her, the girl, but the flesh had sloughed away from her bones. Her dress was rotted tatters, and only empty sockets stared back at me from a skeletal face. A voice, not from her, but from everywhere at once, echoed in the room. The key, lock it away, lock me away. This was the final test, the end of the curse. Place the key in the coffin. My hand trembled as I reached out and placed the silver key on the skeletal girl's chest. The moment it left my fingers, the coffin lid slammed shut with a deafening crack. Silence. The room, the coffin, everything began to dissolve into a brilliant, peaceful white light. Is it over? For the first time in 10 days, I felt a sense of peace. I'm waking up, for real this time. You have survived the 10-day dream. You are free. Written and illustrated by Scott Ackerman, also known as Unrested. Thank you for playing. Well, I hope you enjoyed that visual novel reading. This is my first visual novel I've done a gameplay and review on. I plan to do a lot more in the future. I'm pretty good at narrating. I just want to say a few words to Unrested, and for anyone who's listening. I think this game is pretty good. I think you did a pretty good job developing it. Everything is spelled correctly and everything works like it should. And it's a neat little story. The images are pretty good too. And I guess you have like 3 more games, 2 that are out, and 1 that's going to be out pretty soon that you're making. But they're pretty good. I'm going to check out the other couple games and do a gameplay and review video on that. And so that's my review. This is the first, as I said in the beginning of the video, the first request type video. I've also said on some of my videos that I've been releasing that if anyone wants to request a game to review, that I will do that if I can. I might have it on my Steam account already, or my GOG account, or itch.io, or some other game place. But yes, I think this is a pretty good game, and if you wish to give me a shout out on your live stream, yes, I would like that very well. And if you want me to review anything else, just tell me. But I'm going to be reviewing the rest of your games. This is for Unrested, for Scott Ackerman. I thank you for contacting me, and so I hope you've enjoyed this gameplay and review video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and peruse my ever-growing library of videos. And thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.